Y'all ready to blaze away or what?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have an interview from The Gamer. This has Harada and Michael Murray in it, and they're going to be talking about a lot. How they pick characters like DLC. They're going to be talking about Heihachis and the final death. Jun Kazama's return. They're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. I took many screenshots of things that I think is important and forgot about everything that's kind of like either we know it already or it's kind of useless. The headline says, Tekken 8 leads to talk Jun's return, Heihachi's final death, and how Negan got into Tekken 7. Tekken 8's director Kitsu Harada and producer Michael Murray walk with us through Jun's return, Kuma's gi, and the state of fighting game genre. The first screenshot that I have here is a quote from Harada. Harada says, I don't feel a lot of pressure. Back in the 90s, there were a lot of fighting games. For us, it didn't really matter as Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat are both 2D games. For 3D games, Tekken is the only one that's relevant still. It's actually kind of lonely. It's almost like we'd hope to have a rival to help us make the genre more exciting. Even though I always compare Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken, those are the key three in my opinion. But not having a 3D fighting game to really like innovate and push Tekken further, I don't know, bro. I feel like this is the moment, you know? Fighting games was on top at once, and then now in this era where games is kind of trash, at least the FPS genre, there's some other titles that's still going really strong. This is basically just an opportunity for fighting games to pull in players from different places and make the fighting games stronger. A next screenshot says, when I talk about this to Michael Murray and Harada, they laugh, pointing out that Heihachi has indeed appeared to die in the past while making an expected comeback shortly after, talking about his many comebacks. Harada says that the story of Tekken is decided and planned out much farther in advance than fans might think. So the team has known for some time that Heihachi was going to die and not appear in the 8th installment. Two things I want to highlight. First off, there's more to this. Second off, Harada said before that, Tekken 7 lasted for a very long time, much longer than they anticipated. So that game wasn't prepared for that. They weren't ready to take on that long span challenge. But Tekken 8 is. Tekken 8 is built to last like 5, 6, 7 years. Knees on Twitter already complaining about it. I think it's going to be funny when we get that far ahead and then people are like, where's Tekken 9? But Tekken 8's still going strong. But the other thing, they knew Heihachi was going to die. They said they were working on Reina for at least a decade. So that's a long time in the making. And it makes sense because before Tekken 7 even came out, Harada was already talking about this is going to be the end. Tekken 7 is about Kazuya versus Heihachi. One of them will die and it will be the end. So you can see that they've been planning this for a very long time and now they're acting on that. The actual quote says, it's also decided that the story for Tekken 8 is going to be exciting and fun without Heihachi. Michael Murray said, Harada was a bit surprised about how Heihachi was going to die. He knew he was going to die, but the way the designers decided to portray it leaves no room for misinterpretation. He's pretty dead. Harada was kind of surprised that there was no escaping that. And I think it's so interesting how they say no misinterpretation, yet the community was filled with copium and misinterpreting it for 7 years. Even now, there will be someone in the comment section, he's going to show up in Tekken 8. It's interesting, especially when you analyze how he died. It was not, and I always got to highlight this, it was not the volcano that killed him. Kazuya punching him in the chest stopped his heart, probably exploded it. That is what took Heihachi out the fight. He was dead before he even hit the ground. The lava was just icing on the cake. Moving on, the next one says, this is about Jun Kazama. One reason why Jun return is such a big deal is that we last saw what many assume to be her decapitated head held by one of the Tekken biggest baddies, Ogre. However, Harada believed that that should never have been taken as a sign of her dying, but they should just rock with it like we all thought that was Ogre because Jin did. It's the route that they could have went. So the surprise that she's still alive hits that much harder, and we feel the same way Jin feels. The quote says, we never really said that she was killed. One of the movies in Tekken 3 shows Ogre with someone's head, but it's clearly not one particular character. It was just designed to show him as a scary character. She has just been absent for such a long time, but it was really exciting to bring her back. There's also theories saying that the head that Ogre's actually holding is the head of King, the only confirmed death that Ogre has. Talking a little bit about Kuma and Heihachi. The internet was devastated to see everyone's favorite bearer in mourning, but the truth behind it is more intriguing than sad. Murray reveals that the decision to give Kuma's clothes was made to revitalize him while keeping his essence. He also is not actually wearing Heihachi's outfits. The quote says, "Fans thought that Kuma took Heihachi's uniform and that he was wearing it to avenge his master." But if you think logically, there's no way Kuma was going to be able to wear Heihachi's uniform because the size difference. So the real question is, who made the uniform for him? Reina, maybe Jin, maybe Lars, Lei Shao Kahn. Lastly, it says, no matter how much I asked him, Murray and Harada won't give up too many details on who they have in mind for Tekken 8's post-launch content, talking about DLC. But it seems that, just like with Negan, we can probably expect some surprise to come from whatever the team is into at the time. It says the three of us were usually watching some kind of movie or TV, but right now we're too busy creating Tekken 8, so we don't have any time to consume the proper media to do that. Hopefully when things settle down, we can find a cool character. So they're basically talking about a guest character. They see something cool and they do it. But see, you gotta keep in mind what Harada said. A year ago, before we seen the roster and everyone was throwing around their characters, he said you gotta ask for stuff earlier, way early in advance, because once we get to the point where season 2 is supposed to be announced, it's too late to ask. That stuff already has to be in development. You see how early Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter is already creating their DLC characters, so Tekken 8 probably has season 1 and maybe even season 2 planned out. Yeah, it may not be fully developed, but they definitely have some names, some ideas.